So yeah, if we pull up the crypto bubbles, we can actually see that many of the things are down. Like if you have like the sort of survivorship bias, you can pick out like, oh, this coin went up 351%, this coin went up 84%, and this coin went up 52%, right? But if you looking around, most of everything is down. And yeah, this is on the month. So even if you check this, like I guess right when we had those big dips, like couple days ago, I don't know if that was a week ago by now, but once we had those big dips coming in, like it was pretty crazy, like red all across the board. So it's not just like really PulseChain getting thrashed, I guess you could say. Like it's pretty much across the board where you could see like a ton of cryptos sort of bleeding out a little bit. Another thing is too is PulseChain is I think it's supposed to be leverage on Ethereum, right? That's one of the whole things. Like Hex was leverage on Ethereum. PulseChain's also sort of leverage on Ethereum. Both L1s. Ethereum did all of its gains on a proof of work system, so you had miners that had to dump their tokens to pay for electricity. Whereas in PulseChain, you don't necessarily the validators don't necessarily need to dump their tokens to pay for electricity costs. Now, one thing I was looking at is this ETH BTC chart. So I drew out a couple of things, and this is the halvening right here. So I think it's like May 10th, May 11th, 2020. This was the last 4 year cycle halving. Like we just had one. What was it, April 20th, a couple days ago. And one thing that I thought was really interesting is you can see right here on the halvening was pretty much almost the bottom of this, of like a local bottom of this hex, not hex, Ethereum to BTC ratio. So that's one thing I thought was super interesting is like everyone was waiting for the halvening, waiting for the halvening, waiting for the halvening. But it looks like Ethereum's like traditionally been like it doesn't do good right at the halvening. You actually have to wait maybe like 3 to 6 months after, and you'll start to see a parabolic rise. Same thing if we zoom back, like the 2000 and what was it? 2016 halvening. That's right, 2016 halvening. You had this was down in, I think it was down in May as well. The chart doesn't go back that far, but it kind of just goes to show like right after the halvening, you had some volatility, you had it kind of creep up, and then boom, massive dip. And this is still after the halvening has occurred, right? And then right after you have that dip, basically a parabolic uprise, right? And sort of this is what we're sort of looking for. That's what we're hoping for with ETH, sort of this cycle, and it's sort of looking similar in a way, where right now you have the halvening. ETH is kind of bottomed out, like locally bottomed out, like hasn't come all the way back down to like 2020, 2019 levels. But relatively speaking, like it's creating some new lows here actually, and people are buying it up with some wicks. But what I'm looking for is in like 3 to 6 months, potentially Ethereum starts to take off because this is traditionally what happens after the halvening. Especially when you look at the macro market cycles in general. Let's go back to the bear market. So this was in June. You could see ETH basically just fell off a landslide during the entire bear market, and then as soon as sort of ETH, I think ETH's bear market bottom was it was slightly different than Bitcoin's. Like I want to say ETH even held up Bitcoin a bit in the bear market. I remember ETH when ETH 2.0 was coming out. It was actually I think was it right? I don't know exactly where it is on this chart. September
It
potentially.
should
I
be 2022, right? It's the end of 2022.
End of 2022. Yeah, somewhere around here. Um, either way, whenever ETH 2.0 was coming out, that was one of the things like right sort of ETH bottomed at when below $1,000, start to creep back up, and then you sort of had like a buy the rumor, sell the news when ETH 2.0 came out, and it sort of held itself up during the bear market. Um, Now that like sort of how the macro crypto cycle works is like once you have sort of like the Bitcoin bear market bottom, I guess that's when your bull market commences, and you'll start to see Bitcoin gain more dominance and gain more dominance and gain more dominance. Like if we, I'll pull it up hopefully in a little bit, but if we look at Bitcoin dominance, it's been like the altcoin dominance is falling, Bitcoin dominance is it's doing its thing. It's pretty much nearing like nearing not close to nearing close to a local high, let's say. But if we're just looking at this ETH BTC, like Bitcoin, it has its market cycle, so it usually shows strengths towards the beginning of the bull market, and then towards the end you start to see money flow out into things like Ethereum and other altcoins. So this is what we're looking at. I'm waiting for this chart on Ethereum to sort of have a parabolic uprise, and then we can start to hopefully see more gains in PulseChain. Especially now we have certain wallets I heard bought a bunch of Ethereum, so I don't know what the Ethereum's going to top at, but you could probably do the math on how much money that wallet's going to have, depending on the Ethereum price, and whether or not that money is going to get injected into Pulse Chain is just speculation. But we've seen certain addresses actually bridge over tons of money at certain periods of times, even recently. So